All right, here we go. Welcome, everyone, to the next short attention span webinar. Kelly, how are you?
Hi, Bill. I'm doing great. How are you?
I am well. I am well. Now, if my math is right, let's see. I think this is the first program of the new year.
Happy New Year!
Yeah. And of course,
And if it isn't, just pretend I didn't say that.
yeah, no, I think I think that's right. I think that's right.
Great.
And yeah, so let's talk about how to make an effective presentation as you are doing all of that work to get the appointments. This one started, Kelly. The reason I even created this program, and we sell this as on our e-workshops, and we've got this as part of Sales Challenge and whatnot. But I'll never forget getting a phone call from a guy who's he said, "Bill, this is great." He said, "I'm getting a lot of appointments. This is terrific. Now tell me what to do." And I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "Well, now what?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I don't understand. Go make the sales call." He said, "I have no idea what to say." And I
hmm
was thunderstruck. I really was. It was one of those, of course you don't know what to say.
hmm
I was so focused on getting people appointments that I thought, well, no, when they get them, it never dawned on me to tell them what next. So the
Mm.
first thing that you need to do after you've thanked the appointment gods for making it through voicemail, finding power, getting time, is to double down on the research. Kelly, you want to make the absolute most of this opportunity, right? So,
Absolutely. I mean, you want to be as, I mean, we talk so much about
mm,
preparation. You got to know, and hopefully you've learned a lot about doing research, but yeah, you want to be very, very well prepared on who you're meeting with, what their role is, know something about the company so that you can wow them with the homework that you did and come prepared. And that's, again, it's a big differentiator. You're going to be different than everybody else out there.
and not just the company, but the person. Who am I meeting with? Look them up on LinkedIn, look them up on Facebook, do a search, anything you can
Yep.
find, and have that in your pocket so that if they say something and you can drop in a little gem, oh, is that something you learned at the University of Alabama or Clemson or wherever you went to school, or even those people that go to Michigan, God help them, that, you can drop that in there. And that just shows that you've done a little bit of homework, or maybe understand where they worked prior to this, and that's relevant. Next one, and this one stuns me, that as I have spoken to people about the process of making the presentation, how few people have an agenda. They don't even take
hmm
the step. I mean, this is like being a coach and saying, "Okay, guys, let's go get them." No, what do we do, coach?
Which
What do
is
we
which is by the way what most sales managers do, so it's understandable.
do?
But yeah, I mean, not only do they not have an agenda, I mean, even if you were to have the agenda and keep it to yourself, folks, the name of the game here is to keep control of this situation. So not only do you want to have the agenda, but you want to lay this out to the person that you're meeting with and say, the reason that we're here today is make sure that you are on the same page about what you're there to talk about and let them know that this is why you're here, and that'll kind of state your that kind of control that you have over the situation to say, I'm the boss, but look, this is why I'm here, this is what we're going to talk about today, and kind of make sure that they're on the same page with you.
And Kelly, here's a question: do you send the agenda ahead of time?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know. I think in some cases it would be appropriate to. I think
Hmm.
it kind of depends. What do you think?
No, I agree. I think it's certain. Like, if it's a big meeting, if it's a big meeting and you've got a champion inside. Let's suppose the idea is I'm laying out we're trying to go for a big contract. The my key contact really wants to do business with me. In that circumstance, absolutely. Here's my agenda. Is there anything you want to add to it? For sure. I don't want to make a sales pitch in that. If this is somebody that's kind of on the fence, then no, because that gives them the chance at that moment to say, nah, maybe we shouldn't have this meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a value to it when it's appropriate, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And next up, and you touched on this, Kelly, know the players and know their power. Have you ever made a sales call? I think, God, everybody must have done this. Made a sales call on someone, you get to the end of the presentation and they say, let me run this by my boss and I'll get back to you.
Ugh,
And you say to yourself, dummy, why
yep,
didn't you check this out ahead of time? So
definitely.
you've got to know who you're talking to and what their purchasing power is and where they stand on the pecking order. Am I talking to an administrative assistant or does the buck stop with this person? So that's a big
Another
one.
great question to ask as you're setting this meeting and preparing for this is there anybody else that should be present at this meeting today?
Mm.
And make sure those people are present too. Or otherwise, you're going to end up, like you said, potentially either finding out that this wasn't the right person or that there are others, and you're going to end up doing your job time and time again.
And this is the part that's like going to McDonald's. Don't be surprised if they throw an objection at you. I mean, Kelly, what? Okay, other than the price is too high, what other objections might you hear?
The absolute most common one is we're happy with our current vendor. When you're if you've already gotten the appointment, you're not going to really be dealing with the time objection or anything like that. But what you may hear is, we did work with you 2 or 3 years ago, and you guys majorly screwed up a job, and we
Hmm.
haven't gotten over it yet. So these, again, there's nothing going to be real surprising, but the most important thing is to know it's coming and prepare for it. Know exactly what you're going to say when they say, we love our current vendor, or we're under contract with your competitor, or, again, you guys screwed up a job and we've been told we can't use you anymore.
Or we don't
I
need
mean,
that,
one,
or that's not a
right,
priority, or that's not my department, or
yep,
you should have something to say for all these objections.
mm-hmm,
And as a result, have a plan B. So if you walk in with your A game and you're thinking, this is what we're going to talk about, every once in a while, the client will, when you lay that agenda out and you say, here's what we're here to talk about, and they say, well, that's not what we want to talk about. If you don't have a backup plan, or if you don't think on your feet really, really well, then you've blown an opportunity. So, Kelly, what might a plan B sound like? I'm going to go in, I'm pitching a solution. What might a plan B sound like?
I think, as you said, I'd want to be able to think on my feet, and my next response would be, let's refocus for a moment and take a step back, and let's talk about what is on your minds today.
Yeah.
And then, as you said, be ready to be able to answer and have potentially have a solution ready for whatever it is that is on their minds. Again, and I like to use that language. Let's slow down for a second. Let's take a step back, and let's focus on you. And now tell me what's on your mind, and
Or
let them, and then again, zip your mouth and let them tell you what's on their mind, and then just roll with it.
or if they reject your proposal, you know what? That's not
Mhm.
an idea we're going to go with. Then I think you've got to have something else in mind. And it starts with questions. What part of the proposal did you not like? And it
Mhm.
might be that you say, okay, well then let's regroup and let's reconvene in a week. And if the client says no, we don't have time, yeah, then you got to start dancing. And the
Mhm.
last thing is very important. Don't be late. Don't be late. I don't care what you're printing. You're in the time business. If you drift in 5 or 10 minutes late, it sends a message to the customer. Really does. Especially if you do it chronically. Absolutely no excuse for this. So the key point here to make,
I would also add, Bill,
you know,
don't show up early either.
mm,
I would not walk in more than 5 minutes ahead of time. I think that annoys people too. So, your meeting's at 10, 9:55 is fine. Anything else isn't.
yeah, absolutely. 90% of your success or failure stems from preparation that you do prior to your walking in the door. Just a good rule of thumb that if you are not doing a lot of closing, then you're probably not being prepared walking in. And that's one of the key takeaways to this short attention span webinar. So, Kelly, thank you. And again, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Just a few things going on in your life to look forward to.
It's gonna be an easy year for me. I can tell you.
Not even close. All right, everyone. We will talk to you on the next short attention span webinar. Kelly, thanks.
Thanks, Bill.